One of the biggest challenges when you start a company is you need a product. We're a product company, so you need a product. And in order to get a product, you need money. And in order to get money, you need a customer. In order to get a customer, you need a product. So it's a very difficult challenge that you inch each of them ahead, right, a little bit. And at that stage, my partner and I, we got a customer interested, a wireless carrier that was interested in potentially offering Pound Taxi if we were to theoretically be able to build it, and maybe they would do a trial. And then we had a technology company that was willing to build it for us if we came up with the money, or they agreed to discount a little bit in order to build it. And then we had raised a little bit of financing from friends and family. So we had a little bit of momentum. We could start to see how we were inching each of them forward. And we were able to secure a meeting with a former C-level executive from BCE. I don't know if it was BCE at the time, but Bell Wireless or whatever it was. It was a mobile, someone from the wireless industry. It was an important meeting for us because we wanted to get some validation and feedback from a key wireless executive that could let us know whether we were crazy or not, or how brilliant we were. At least we were hoping for the latter. So we had this meeting, and it was set up in our loft apartment/office in Toronto. We had to clear the beer bottles and the dog hair so that he'd have somewhere to sit down and we wouldn't embarrass ourselves. And we did all of that, and I prepped this presentation for him. And he came in, and we had exchanged pleasantries and all of that. And then we kicked into the presentation, ran through the entire presentation, and he really didn't say anything during the presentation. I went through, I'd been preparing for this. Both of us had, to cover everything we thought we needed to cover in the presentation, impress upon him the overall market opportunity, everything we've done, the validation that we had, how big this opportunity is, how we only had to get this much in order to be this big, and all the same sort of shenanigans that people run through in these PowerPoint presentations. I didn't say anything, and then we got to the end of the presentation. We were getting a little bit nervous. Finished and said, okay, well, we'd be really interested in getting your frank feedback on what you think of our business and some perspective on it. And he just sort of leaned back, and he crossed his arms, and he kind of smiled, and he said, you freaking guys. He didn't say freaking. He said, you freaking guys. He goes, it's like you're two soldiers trying to take a hill, and you're just running straight up into the hill to take it. And my partner and I kind of looked at each other, and we said, oh, I like the sound of that. That sounds pretty good. And then he said, and it's like you have these broken swords and a tattered shield and a rusty helmet as you're running up this hill. And our brows started to furrow at that point, as we didn't like where this was going. And then he said, at the top of the hill is a pillbox with a machine gun turret and mortars and missiles, and you're just running straight into a minefield, and you guys have no idea that there's a minefield there. And at this point, we realized this, maybe hadn't gone quite as well as we thought it was. But then he finished with the best part, which is he said, but the beauty of it is you're just so naive, you'll probably take the hill. And you know what? That stuck with us because, it's not that we didn't have a great idea. We did have a good idea. It wasn't original. I'm sure lots of other people had thought of a similar type of idea. It's not that the business principles that we based our business on weren't doable. They weren't perfect, and we pivoted and changed some things, but it was that we couldn't see all of the fiefdoms and all of the things that were within that industry that he saw. At that point, Bell and Rogers weren't even accepting, and TELUS for that matter, weren't accepting text messages from each other's subscribers. So I appreciate that. You know someone who's on Rogers, you're on Bell, and you can't even text them. You're on these little walled gardens. So the idea that they would all roll out Pound Taxi in the same way with the same business model to all of their mutual benefit in this sort of co-opetition hadn't occurred yet. And so anyone who looked at it said, it's just ridiculous. It will never work. It's never been done. But the advantage we had is we didn't have the baggage of having worked in the wireless industry for the last 10 years, because all of the perspective from those who looked at our model and said it won't work was based on the history of what had happened before, not that what was going to happen going forward. And I think that's the unique thing for many of you in the audience who are thinking about entrepreneurship. Pretty much all of the great companies that have been founded in our generation, and a lot of the ones previously, are from first-time entrepreneurs. They're not from people like us who've got 10, 15 years of experience of entrepreneurship and now we're seasoned entrepreneurs and then we go launch the next great company. We won't. We'll launch maybe a good company, but we'll see all the pitfalls. We'll see all the traps. We won't be naive, so we'll be reserved. We're more likely to let somebody else start it and then we'll join when we pick a winner kind of thing. And that's actually what happens more often than not with experienced entrepreneurs. So, you know, there's that advantage to being able to just naively run into the hill and take it, where all the people who actually understand the industry are just, you know, waiting idly by and not running with the opportunity that you've thought of. So I'll just finish with that and encourage all of you to take the hill. That's it.